The Icons of Real Estate podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters at Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Calloway. We have a very special guest for you today from Israel, Litan Yahav. He has developed a platform called Vyzer, which helps assist investors in, well, I'm going to let him explain it to you. Litan, how are you?
Hey, Tim. I'm great. Great to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm excited about this, actually. We don't get enough developers or platforms to look at and help investors or anyone for that matter kind of manage their portfolio. So why don't you go ahead and tell me how you got started and how this came to be?
Yeah, well, it's a funny story because we didn't plan on building this platform. So essentially, I'm a tech founder, not from the technical side, from the business side. Okay. But I managed to get some amazing co-founders and build good teams to build successful companies. And so my last company went well, was in the very weird diamond industry. So we did 3D imagery for diamonds, hardware and software for photography diamonds, trading them online. And that went well. We exited that and sold it back in 2015, made some money. And at that point, I mean, it wasn't tens of millions of dollars, but it was enough for us to start managing and investing it on our own. And we have a really big appetite for real estate, but specifically passive real estate investing. That's our passion. So me and my co-founder just started to meet with people we know, and they connected us with more people they know. And we just started to invest. And over the years, sort of started invested in some single family actively managed properties, even some that we sort of had property management companies managing them for us, and started investing in syndications as limited partners. And just as we started to do both of those types of investments and adding in private equity and startups and crypto and stuff like that, after a few years, our spreadsheets became insane, and multiple bank accounts with cash flow coming in and out, like good problems to have, like I like to say, but still problems. And at some point, I'd say about 2.5, 3 years ago, we decided to build ourselves a piece of software to automate the process for us. And I'll give you just like an idea of like what that means for us. Like, we really have mainly invested in syndications, and you invest in syndication, you'll put 50,000, 100,000 into one of these deals, and you're supposed to get some sort of ongoing cash flow distributions from these deals, right? Mm-hmm. Be a multi-family type complex that they value add, and every quarter distribute some cash from the income, right? And so you can imagine, I'll get an email from an operator or syndicator saying, "Hey, this quarter you're going to get $4,000." And I'll say, honestly, I don't remember how much I invested in one I invested, because I don't have one, I have 10 or 15 of these. Right. And even if I do remember, a few weeks later that cash will appear in my bank account, I'm not going to even remember what it's associated to. And so that was just like a headache for us. And even adding in the documents and K1s and reporting to our CPAs, anyway, it was a headache. And so we built ourselves a piece of software to automate the whole process. Just our sort of personal virtual family office approach. We throw every document into it, link in every bank account, and it does all that monitoring, tracking, projections for us. Right. And then a bunch of friends wanted it as well. And we're like, wait, there might be a business here. And after like researching the world, speaking with hundreds of people like us in Europe, but also in the US, we found there are millions of people like us in the US alone. Yeah. And we said, let's just build what we've built for ourselves and offer it for everyone like us. And that's sort of like where Vyzer started exactly 2 years ago in November of 2020. So we're a venture-backed startup offering that as a service. So it's a consumer-focused financial product for people like us. We don't manage any money, but we're that place where you throw everything at us. We link in everything into it, and then we'll sort of give you that one source of truth for everything, and then also compare you to people like you and show you what other syndications or what fund people are investing in, give you that sort of like holistic approach to your financial life.
Right.
And so it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It looks pretty awesome. I mean, necessity is the mother of all invention, right? You
Exactly.
you had a need and you created you created what you needed. So, and I do agree. I think others would need something just like this. I'm obviously, as you're telling me about it, I'm going over everything on the website. So tell me how, was it difficult when you say you're venture backed? I mean, was it difficult going out and finding the cash, or were people just like, no, this is a winner, and I know I know it is. Here, take all my money, please.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think when any startup or business that you start usually has to sort of solve a problem, like you say, a necessity. And so when there's a problem you're trying to solve, one of the biggest questions is, all right, how big is the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many people are suffering from this problem? And what current solutions do they have that you can do it better, right? Those are the two main factors usually when you start a startup that you should ask as a founder, but also investors will ask. And proving those two questions is hard work, specifically in this sort of like more like opaque industry where no one knows anything in the private markets. It's so hard to find any information about how many people invest in the private markets. How many people are there in our segment that suffer from the problems we're suffering from, right? And so sort of proving that was a hurdle, but sort of when you look at the market, and I don't know how many people know this, but in the US alone, about 50,000 real estate operators, syndicators. That's an insane number of companies that raise money to invest in real estate. And then each of these companies has, say, 10 to 100 or 1,000 LPs. And then sort of, that's a lot of people.
Right.
And so that's sort of solving the size of the market. And the problem itself is just speaking with hundreds of people like this. Like we've spoken to a bunch of operators, a bunch of LPs like us, there's hundreds of people. Only then did we decide, yeah, this is a valuable business, because when you look at the market, like the financial technology market, fintech, specifically personal finance, there are like 15,000 budgeting apps out there.
Wow.
Or 1,500, sorry, not 15,000.
Oh, I was gonna say 15,000. Wow.
Yeah. No, 1,500 budgeting apps out there.
Still a lot, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you've heard of probably Mint and Personal Capital, and then there's a bunch of other like those. But the thing about these companies is that they're all focused on the mass market. Once you start to sort of linger into investing in the more complex stuff like real estate and private equity and crypto and hedge funds, and you're like, what do I do now? They can't tell me. And I'm not big enough to have my own family office. And the private banks, which also offer service, usually, I mean, they want my money so that I can invest in their own products. And so like you're in this limbo that you have money, you have a complex portfolio, but you have to choose between building a crazy spreadsheet or paying an assistant or a bookkeeper tens or hundreds of thousands a year. And so once we prove that both to ourselves and to investors, we raise money. But obviously, especially from Israel, because that's where we're based, building a consumer product focused on the US market isn't something that's sort of done a lot here. Most companies in Israel, like cybersecurity companies, enterprise software companies offering services or whatnot, healthcare, stuff like that. And so we're sort of not the mainstream start. We have an amazing group of investors that really believe in what we're doing, really are helping us build the best product, reach the largest audience. So we're super lucky and privileged to have that.
It's so funny because I'm listening to you and I'm like, I got to tell them. And you stole the words right out of my mouth. I said, this is going to save a lot of people a lot of spreadsheets. I mean, because I'm 52 years old, right? I mean, I came up with the home computer. I mean, I didn't build it, but I was programming at 17 years old or trying to learn programming, and then over the years, I get a home computer and all these things, and spreadsheets is like all we've ever really known. And then all these platforms come out. And as you said, Litan, it's like this platform does this platform does that, this platform does that. And yes, I can manage my money. And yes, I can understand how my money moves over to here. But in these real niche granulated, investment areas, and it sounds like it does a lot more than I think what what we're really talking about. I think we utilize in different ways, but definitely got to take some headaches out of the total game. So tell me this: are there any plans about moving? What's the next step for Vyzer? I mean, what are some other applications for the platform that you might be looking at, if you can give away anything?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty open. I'm an open book. Just like on that point, I think, listen, Excel, spreadsheets, Google Sheets, whatever,
Right.
they're freaking amazing. Like you can do a ton of stuff with them. The problem is like when you build out crazy spreadsheets, they break.
Right.
And maintaining them is hard. And if you want to be a passive investor like we want to be, I don't want to work at maintaining my spreadsheets or updating values for my bank accounts or documents. I want someone else to do that for me. I just don't want to pay so much when it can be done with technology a lot more efficiently and with zero conflict of interest. So like, I'll give you an example. What we've built. So at Vyzer, when I get a statement from an operator or when I get a fund statement from any investment, my brokerage account, I'll just forward it to Vyzer. And then what happens is Vyzer, automatically it's translated into an asset or a liability or updates an existing one, so that I don't have to do that. And then it saves a document under the specific asset, so that when I need to find a document or my CPA wants a document for tax filing purposes or K1 or whatever, it's already there. I don't have to look for it.
Now, how does it know the cells? Oh, I guess I keep thinking sheets, right? I keep thinking spreadsheets. How does what?
Well, also spreadsheets. So that people like, because if you want to convert from a spreadsheet, you throw it into what we call our magic box. Okay. And then once you throw it into the magic box, it's converted into data. And we use both some algorithms and people that go through these anonymized documents and input the information manually. But the thing is, when you think about these documents, like there's a ton of words. Yeah. But at the end of the day, there are just a few values that you really want. You want the net asset value, you want the cash flow, and basically that's it. I mean, all the rest of it for me is a lot of fluff that I understand why you need to have it, but for me, it's not. Me as a retail investor, I don't care about all that stuff. So I just want to know.
Yeah, NAV, cash flow, and maybe interest earned or things like that. I mean, very nominal.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could calculate the interest on. I don't need you to tell me that.
That's true.
If I have your previous value, your current value, and all the cash that's distributed, I can show you what the interest made was. Even more than that, I don't really base the interest off of the documents if it's a cash flow, because I'll link in your bank account and automatically identify transactions in your bank account and link them to the specific investments, and then calculate the interest based on actual cash flow and not on what someone is saying they're distributing. Because many times I'll get an update from an operator saying, all right, this month you're going to get $2,000.
Right.
But the money only reaches my account a month later. I don't really care when you notified me of the money. I want to see it in my bank account. And that's when I'll calculate the interest, not when I got the document.
Right. That makes sense.
For example. Yeah. And also, so another functionality. So when you think of these different investments you have, each of them have some sort of component of cash flow, usually, or not all, but when they do, the aspect of sort of distributions or dividends that I'm supposed to receive in the future, or capital calls or expenses I'm supposed to spend or pay. And so when you think of it, when you have multiple streams of cash flow in the future, I want to be able to project what my cash is at the moment and how it will look moving forward over time. So that, because it's really hard. I mean, I've spoken with so many people in our situation that get a phone call from a fund saying, hey, there's a capital call coming up. We need you to transfer $100,000 next month. But I don't have $100,000 just laying around. It's deployed. And people forget these commitments. And so the idea is of that cash flow projection aspect is to keep you aware of your commitments and your cash flow moving forward so you can make better decisions. That's already in the platform, right? But moving forward, another cool aspect is sort of in the private market specifically, but generally any type of investment product, it's very hard to understand where people are investing. Like who's investing in these funds, who's putting their money in this money account or money market account, what type of APY are they seeing? The idea is if people opt in or opt out, to share anonymously within the platform where other people are putting their money.
Yeah,
exactly. And then how many people have invested in each of these financial products or funds, and then communicate with each other based on those investments so that you can share information between people without any conflict of interest.
Yeah, that almost seems like to me, as an investor, the bigger component, right? Now all of a sudden, my money's here and I'm getting to see these things, cash flows, NAVs, all that. And then obviously my CPA, he really loves it because I'm sure there's connectivity where I can share that with him or her, and they can take care of end of the year. But being able to have that social aspect of it where, I can see where other money's going, that kind of keeps me in the loop to things maybe I don't know about, right?
Right. I mean, it's super valuable, but it's also chicken and the egg, right?
Got it.
Because for
It's
me to
hard.
show you, you have to have enough people with information in order to show you
Right.
benchmarking. And we're at that phase. Like we were in beta for like 10 months and got about 800 beta users over that period.
Mhm.
And then we went live a month and a half ago, sort of starting to charge a subscription model for the product,
Right.
so that we can bring more value and sort of show ourselves and investors that, all right, this is a product that people are willing to pay for. And we're blown away by the conversions of people actually paying for it. And so that's really cool. But even moving forward, like when you think about when you have these types of like-minded people in one platform, we can bring them more value without creating a conflict of interest. Like, for example, what if people want to invest together into a fund and the
Right.
minimum ticket for that fund is too high? And they can then create an SPV through the platform, invest together as a feeder fund into that fund,
Right.
or a whole secondary market within the platform. Like if people want to liquidate their position at a discount to someone else on the platform, but it's all based on actual performance and documentation.
Right.
And obviously taxes and giving your family members access and your CPA access or tax advisor access. And we also want to add tax. There's a bunch of stuff we want to add in. We want to bring just a ton of value without creating
Right.
that conflict of interest.
I love it. But I'm going to tell you this, I'm not giving any of my family members access, okay? That's not going to happen. So,
Yeah.
so it looks pretty simple. I'm going, it looks very user friendly. Of course, I'm not in the back end or anything, but it looks very user friendly, easy to sign up for. Obviously, you've got a monthly billing, a yearly billing.
Yeah, that's that.
Go ahead.
So when you sign, first of all, you sign up free, but then you can play around the platform, see how like all the mechanics and everything works for free. And then if you want to sort of use it for your own information, you have to sign up for a 30-day trial with a credit card. Just because, I mean, this is to be as direct as possible. Like if people don't commit, they will not do it. Right. And so it's really important to commit because it is like the first phase, getting your stuff set up, letting us set it up for you is something you need to go through. And so many times people, if they like say, yeah, all right, I'll play, I'll at some point I'll do this.
Right.
But you need to be like, all right, do it now and get it set up and get the value. And we're also really straightforward. Like if you don't get value from Vyzer, we'll give you everything back. Like you have this 90-day money back guaranteed because we only want people to get real value from the platform, pay for it.
Right.
And the price point is like if for that specific person like us, it's basically free for that.
It's
The price
free.
point.
That's free.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at the price point and going, I've paid someone 100 times that. I feel like not 100. That's exaggerating. That's my own hubris probably talking there, but yeah, I feel like I've paid 100 times that amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're really excited about that. And
yeah, for sure. So tell me, so you're in full phase. It's no longer in beta, right? I mean, you're full open with it now. Any changes in the near future that anybody can expect? You want to give away a little tidbit or anything else going on with the platform?
Yeah, so like I said, by the end of this quarter, we're going to have that benchmarking thing set up so people can see what other people are investing in. And then next quarter, we're planning on rolling out, adding more functionality for like insurance and taxes as well.
Nice.
And again, this will be throughout 23, sort of.
Yeah.
We're adding in more deployment aspects like the secondary market maybe, or the sort of creating feeders into other products. So there's some other stuff we're thinking about, but let's leave it for next time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's almost limitless, right? It's about as fast as you can type. That's it. That's all that's slowing you down. I mean,
Well, we have I mean, when you think of a startup, especially a software startup like this, which focuses on consumers, there's so many things we want to build. And our big challenge is focusing on what is the most valuable aspect today.
Right.
Like we want to, so you can create a balance sheet. You click a button and you'll create a balance sheet, a personal financial statement. Like those are things we want to add on as fast as possible, right? Because that's a ton of value. If you want to click a button and then send your PFS to your lender. Like,
yeah, I love that.
So, and that's just one aspect. So there are a bunch of others.
Yeah, is it more profitable? Well, I guess this is probably not something on this call we talk about, but is it better to develop it yourself or better to, a joint venture with someone who's already doing it and integrate it into your platform, and every time there's a click, there's a ching ching, so something
well, I mean, it depends. Like for us, the product itself is really our core value, and so we do it in-house, everything.
Got it.
And also because there's a lot of sensitive information involved. I don't want to do this offshore. Like we're really, I don't know if you know, but everyone in Israel has basically been in the military. And for us, like this might sound like a cliche, but like security and privacy for us, like above everything. And we pay hackers to try and hack us to just make sure that our information is secure. So our core will never be sort of developed offshore out of the office. But depending on the product, there are other companies that makes total sense just to outsource every aspect of the developing of the app or whatnot.
Right. Well, fantastic, Litan. I appreciate you being on the show. Vyzer, Vyzer.co. It's Vyzer.co, right?
Yeah, it's VYZER.co.
Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you so much. Is there anything we missed out on this? I mean, I don't want to leave anything unturned because I think it's a great product. It's a great platform.
This is amazing. Thanks for having me. And if I can help in any way, even just sharing information about like investing passively in syndications, because I love it so much. But I'm happy to help anyone who's interested. And reach out to me, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Litan@Vyzer.co. Like whatever I can do to help, I'm happy to.
Litan Yahav, thank you so much for being on the show. We'll put all your details on the page and when the show releases. Thanks so much, man. You have a great week.
Thank you, man. You too.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.